Hi, I have two layouts to share with you today from this one sketch, and the first I'm going to be doing is an 8 by 8. So here I'm trimming down the photo. I believe it was a 3 by 5 photo, and just trimming it down from my printing it out on my printer. And then a lot of the paper that I'm using here is from the June Studio Calico kit, and I'm going to use that yellow chevron paper as my base paper for my background. And again, this is the 8 by 8 layout, so I was cutting it down to 8 by 8, and I had this scrap of blue geometric shape pattern, and I am going to use this green and blue polka dot paper too. So there's the basics of the layout, and then I'm just looking on the chipboard and looking at some of my materials to figure out what I'm going to do next. And I had this glitter ribbon from last Studio Calico's kit, last month's kit, and I was going to use that there as the border strips from the sketch. And I inked all the edges with, I believe it was frayed burlap, or no, gathered twigs, I'm sorry, from Tim Holtz's, I think it's his fall, it was fall collection, his fall collection, and just now I'm gluing down the papers, and I'm just putting some glue on the back of that strip there. And again, I am putting glue on the back of the other ribbon, glitter ribbon strip there, and I folded them both on the around the back onto the back, just gluing them down. I'm gonna glue the picture down, and then there's the basics of the layout. And now I'm just gonna start doing some small layering and adding my embellishments. And that was a banner sticker that I just chipboard that I cut in half because it was just a little too long. I'm inking the edges, some yellow, and then what am I gonna do? I am adding, this is like one of those talk bubbles, speech bubbles that I just stuck underneath there. And now here I'm going to stamp this circular geometric shape. I can't think of what it's called right now. And I'm just using that gathered twigs again. I'm going to do it on this yellow, and then I'm going to cut it out. And I pulled out my, I was checking my punch and it's too small, and then I pulled out my Frisker's cutting templates to cut it out. I've had these for a long time. I used to use them all the time, and now I rarely use them. Anyway, so there I'm using it with the little Frisker's cutting tool, and I didn't push hard enough, so it didn't cut well enough, so I had to go back and kind of redo my lines and make sure I got it pulled out. I'm just trimming it up because it tore a little bit, but anyways, so there, and then I ink the edges, and I'm just glue it down right there in the thing. And I know I have some of the people covered up because they're friends, and I didn't have their permission to put their faces on the internet. So anyways, I just glue it down, and now this is just some more of those embellishments. I think this is from last month's kit of the Studio Calicos. Just gonna ink the edges and glue that down up in that top right corner, and then I'm gonna cut that off and do the ups to the other corner too, and ink in those edges again. And looking for more embellishments to glue down. So I found that little rosette, and then I also found some of the buttons and chipboard pieces to glue down onto there. And I'm just going to pop dot that chipboard starburst shape. And of course inking the edges again. And let's see here, glue it down. Or after I get finished inking all the edges. Down and going to trim off the excess. And that sketch is a sketch that I made last week when I was on vacation because I was having scrapbooking withdrawals and because I couldn't scrapbook. So what I did was I made sketches. So now I am just finding some more scraps to use to put into the layout and making a little banner with my corner punch, or my square punch. And then that paper came from, I think, one of those PB&J the PB&J collection. It was just the branding strip on there. And now I'm cutting off the little chipboard button to glue down. And then I am going to be pulling out the twine that came with the kit to glue down, or not to glue down, to sew down those two buttons. And I'm going to I'm going to poke the holes in there so I can go through all the papers. So I'm just using a piece of foam that I had to help punch the holes through. And like I said, I'm going to thread some twine that came in that stupid calico kit through those the holes there, and just make a little bow. And I'm going to do the same with that yellow button that was right there in the top, or the yellow chipboard button that was up in the top right corner. So I'm just fussed with the bow a little bit, and then I'm going to use some glue to glue down the bow so it doesn't come undone. And then I'm just going to go do the opposite corner again, same thing. Okay, so now I'm going to do my title, and this was Mardi Gras, so that's what the title is going to be. I'm using these pebble corrugated letters. It's cardboard letters, sorry. I think there. And I'm just, again, using the plastic that the letters came in to help me figure out the placement. And I had a hard time getting those letters off of their sticker sheet. And then you're going to see they kind of didn't peel off as easy off of that plastic either. So yes, I'm making the edges again with on all these letters, so they just stand out and pop up a little bit more. So now I'm just transferring them onto the thing, and you can kind of see that how they tore a little bit when I pulled them off the plastic, but it wasn't that much. So again, now just finishing the title and making the edges for the rest of it. And since I know where I was going to place it, and I had written it on the side, the Mardi Gras, to make sure I spell it correctly, I didn't use the plastic to help line it up and see where I wanted it to go. And so I'm going to keep doing that. And I'll be finished with this layout soon, and then I'm going to move to the 12 by 12 layout. And I'm sad to say that the video that I made of it got corrupted somehow in the transferring or something, and so I don't have it. So I have pictures, and I'll just kind of go briefly over the pictures of what I've done in them. So now I'm pulling out my pens, and I'm just going to add my journaling. And at first I had done it on strips, and you're going to be able to see them sitting on the side, but they didn't quite fit in all what I wanted to say into in that one certain little area that I wanted them. So I had to write it onto the paper, and it's kind of hard to see, but oh well, it's not that. It wasn't. I mean, I know it's there, and if people want to read it, they can just kind of have to use their eyes to look at it. But anyways, so that's the basics of that layout, and I will be moving on to the 12 by 12 now. Okay, and here's the 12 by 12 layout, and like I said earlier, the video got corrupted, so I only have pictures. And in this right top corner, I made a cluster, and I used that tag there, and I made that tag actually, and I used just Mr. Huey's with a Prima template, and I sewed those buttons down, and I did the same in the bottom left-hand corner like the sketch showed with the buttons too, and some chipboard piece, and I stamped that onto a die cut piece that was in the kit. Yeah, and it was a stamp that came in the kit too that matched the die cut piece. And so now there was the title, Sweet Baby, and then I journaled, and I messed up on writing her name, and so that was my little fix to it. I just stamped it out on another piece of paper and cut it out. And I like actually how it came out because it kind of pops up her name and shows the importance of who's in the picture. So thanks for watching, and have a good day.